Hello everyone, welcome to Gosport Railworks. My name is James and today in this episode we'll be looking at how to look after our model trains. Today I'll be showing you how to lubricate your locomotive, how to clean the wheels and also generally take care of it, and also look after the rolling stock as well. But first things first is get your locomotive out. I've got my black schools class here, and you also look at the instruction sheet because it does tell you exactly what you need to do for oiling the locomotive. For the schools class in particular, it shows you where to oil the motion, which is the side gear in that lot, and also where to add the oil for the gears on the inside, and also how to remove the DCC body, all that lot, but that's not important. One thing which I have done for this particular model is I've turned it back into DC because it's a lot more easier to get things looking after it in that way. So yes, first of all, let's get the oil. Normally the manual will tell you how, a particular type of oil or suggestions of which oils to use. I'll be using the Hobby Lube light oil with an extension tip, which I won't actually be using because it's a bit more than I need. So I'm just going to get there's actually a SD card case, but I'll be using it just so I can get a little drop of oil. Slowly, there we go, and that's all the oil which I probably need, which is just a tiny little drop. That's still probably a bit too much, but never mind. And first things first is I'm going to oil the motion on both sides. Make sure that light is bright enough so you can see, and also zoom in. Make sure there we go. A bit too far back, but never mind. And the motion is all the side rodding on the side here, and also cranks out and all that lot. So just basically get something like a drawing pin, not drawing pin, a what was it? Can't remember what they're called now. Basically a small little bit of wire or something. Something like single core wire like I've got here. I did remember the word which I was going to use, but never mind. It'll come to me eventually. But just basically you rub the oil very carefully in where you want it. Ooh, make sure. I'm actually going to zoom that back out so you can see what I'm doing and not dropping anything. So slightly bit of the oil and just carefully rub it in where you need it. Also, that light is got a problem with that light for some reason, but never mind. Right, that's done that side. Just to mention, some of these lubrication oils, they do give off a bit of a smell, so probably a good reason why we shouldn't use too much of it. Just basically oiling all the main moving parts. I probably haven't done everything, but let's see if it ever end helps. And that should help. And the holes underneath for the schools class just between the two driving wheels. So just get a little bit of oil, carefully rub it in there. Paperclip, that's what I was thinking of. Yes, get a paperclip. I know I was thinking of paper something clip, that was it. But it's just sometimes when words escape you. But that should be it. And the next thing to do is just basically get a battery, which is the reason why I changed it to DC. That's better. Basically just think my battery's dying. Let me try that on here. That's fine. Let me just do that on here. You want to sit on there properly. There we go. And just lifting it up just so that it doesn't try and run off somewhere. And then the other way around. Right, so that sort of spread all the lube around everywhere, and that's pretty much it for adding oil or the oil. And yeah, just clean it up somehow. So yes, that's that main bit done. And trying to get rid of a bit of paper. Here we go. Now, next thing to do is if your locomotive isn't picking up the power all that well, it's most likely that the wheels are dirty and you need to clean the wheels. There's a few methods to do this. You could either use a cotton swab, which I've got here, and some alcohol. This is 99.9% alcohol, so not all that tasty to drink. In fact, it's quite toxic, so don't. You have got one of these brush type things. I can't remember their names. I'll have to have a quick look in a minute. But it's basically you just rub these against the wheels, and it'll take off all the muck. Or you can use one of these wire brush things, which basically you stick this on the track, you stick the loco on top, and then you power it, and it will just basically clean it. So I'm just going to quickly show you how that works. So do that. Everyone wants to sit on there properly. I'm going to use 2 batteries for this, just to make sure I've got enough power. Carefully do that. Do that back. And this will just scrape off pretty much to take off any residue which is on the wheels, but it'll only work on any powered wheels, so it won't work on these tender wheels at the back here, which are also pickups as well. So yes, that's not going to work for all things. So I'll just pop that back. But yeah, for this, it's basically just unroll it like that. I'll put the name of what they're actually called below, just so you can see. And yeah, you just basically carefully, it's probably better to do this with the loco upside down, and preferably in something better than just putting it on upside down on some track. And you just basically wipe it back and forth. And yeah, a little bit of pressure is needed. And yeah, it does take off any residue. Do be careful of anything like traction tyres or something like that, because traction tyres may get damaged, but it should be alright. So just carefully do that, and just basically hold any free rolling wheels, or just slowly turn them and just hold the pen there, just basically like that. And yeah, it does take up some muck. Unfortunately, it's not going to take up much because I have already cleaned these before. So yeah, that should be alright. And that's a fairly easy thing to do. And to clean it, I think you just scrape it against something. I'm not entirely sure. These are fibre brushes, so do need to be a bit careful if you're doing something like that. But let's see if that will just use some water and just clean it like that. And lastly, there is the IPA, the alcohol. So basically same thing. I tend to pour a little into the cap, so you don't need that much. That should do. Actually, what I might do is just do the driving wheel. So don't think it likes being upside down. Unfortunately, my hand's always in the way. Come on. Yeah, it's taken up a little bit. If that can focus. No, it can't. It has taken off a little bit of muck. Like I said, I have already cleaned these, so it's not really all that much. Or you can just do wiping it back and forth like this, and yeah, they're already quite clean. And yeah, that's pretty much how you clean the wheels. Luckily, IPA does dry fairly quickly, and also it does not leave any residue, so it's always quite nice to do that. So that's how you look after the locomotive, and hopefully do not get any of these chemicals don't get the oil or the IPA on the plastic, because it will damage it or it'll scuff it up and look not all that particularly nice unless you want it looking scuffed up. But there are better ways than using other chemicals. So I'm just going to put the schools class over there, and for looking after rolling stock, it's pretty much the same thing really. So unfortunately it's not powered, so can't use this at all. You can get these fairly cheaply, I think about 20 quid, and these are about a fiver or something like that. I can't quite remember. I will find out at some point. But yeah, it's basically do the same thing. Hold the brush there, and just move the wheel. And the reason why I want to do the rolling stock as well is because the wheels also pick up debris and oils and things like that, and if it's got the oils and dirt on the rolling stock wheels, well, it will just basically be spreading it across your layout as well, and then it will be picked up by your locomotive. So it's always good to look after your rolling stock as well. The frequency of when to do this, it's I'm not entirely sure. I'll do it every. If you're using it running it quite often, I would say do it at least once a month. Or if you're doing it a lot of heavy running and stuff like that, do it once a week. But it should well, for cleaning the rolling stock anyway. For the locomotive, it's once every 50 hours of running time. Let me have a double check of the manual, because they often do tell you when to clean. Every 50 hours of running. Yes. Right. For the schools class in particular anyway, every 50 hours of running, or if it basically lubricate the engine. If it's in hot environment, they do lubricate it a bit more often, because hot weather does affect things as well. And yeah, so just for rolling stock, you probably just leave it once a month or something like that, and everything should be nice and clean. Also make sure your fingers are clean beforehand, because if your fingers are not clean beforehand, there's no real point. I'm just going to say the results of that. So they're fairly clean. They were already clean beforehand, but so that's the a speck of dirt on there, so that's quite nicely done. And yeah, that's pretty much how you look after your locomotive and your rolling stock. So yeah, hopefully everyone's found that useful, and yeah, I hope it. Next video I'll be doing in this bit is how to look after your layout and how to clean it and make sure that's all nice and clean. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that as well. And yeah, as I said, hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you again next time. So take care now, and bye bye.